leader of Russia, and he was appointed. He felt that he was appointed by God. Well, something serious happened in 1905. He had unarmed protesters murdered at that time. Can I have somebody read this for the class? Okay, go ahead.
Russia was experiencing massive unemployment, high inflation, food shortages,
All right.
and involved in a war with Japan that they were clearly losing. Protesting factory workers rushing to Tsar Nicholas's palace with a petition.
That's okay.
Signed by over 100,000, demanding free speech, rights of workers, and an end to the war of Japan. The march was intended to be peaceful. The Tsar wasn't even there at the time, but commanders ordered the protesters killed. This all ended in the Bloody Sunday. Who does the Tsar remind you of?
So who does the Tsar remind you of? Claire? Napoleon? You think Napoleon? There's somebody else. Yeah? Mr. Jones? Are you guys done with this?
No.
Or like the couple minutes? You don't have to write it all down. No. Just take whatever notes you feel like you need. Yes? Maybe Snowball. So what do we know about him? He was a ruler. Okay? So that brings us down to just a few characters. He was sometimes kind, and sometimes not so kind. Let's find out. So Mr. Jones. We remember this about Mr. Jones, right? Very irresponsible with his drinking. This led to him mistreating his animals. Okay, so you can write the Tsar Nicholas. So what's the symbol? Mr. Jones. Okay? It's just Mr. Jones.
What is the symbol?
Mr. Jones. Tsar Nicholas. That's a good question. In the novel, we have the character of Mr. Jones. He, in an allegory that is a symbol about something else, he symbolically represents Tsar Nicholas II.
But I mean, like,
What if we just write down?
Yeah.
Like what?
That's a symbol. What is a symbol? Yeah?
I mean,
What's the
symbol
represents
for
the
animal?
The symbol for Animal Farm?
Wasn't it like each person was supposed to have a symbol, like Squealer was propaganda, and then so
And Mr. Jones is Tsar Nicholas II. And he represents the Tsar's role in the revolution. Are you still confused?
yeah.
Okay, let's keep going and then maybe you'll see what I'm trying to get at. What is
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Well, since this is an allegory, which is a symbolic story about something else. George Orwell wrote Animal Farm as a direct symbol of the Russian Revolution. So you're right, every character, or most every character, you can take out of the story and directly relate it as a symbol to someone or something in the Russian Revolution. Okay? So, in the story we have Mr. Jones. George Orwell wrote his character to symbolically represent that of Tsar Nicholas in the Revolution. So they are each other's symbols. You understand?
Yeah.
If you don't, it's fine. As we go, I think maybe it'll get clearer. Okay. So now we have Karl Marx, the father of communism. Yes. Yes. So he believed in a communal way of life where everyone shares in prosperity. That is a key part of what communism what he invented as communism to be. That was his belief. He also believed that private ownership of land must be abolished. He didn't want people to own too much. He wanted everyone to share in owning property. He wanted everyone to be equal in that way. Yeah? Yep. So he said, this is a famous, something that he said famously. He said, "Workers of the world unite." But sadly, he died before the revolution happened. Which character in our novel did this very thing happen to? Everybody, what?
Old
Major. You gonna see what he looks like in my head? You guys done with this? Okay, you can say. Right. Remember how Old Major died right before the revolution happened?
I think Old Major here.
Huh?
What animal was he?
Old Major's big, boar. Old Major's a big old 12-year-old boar. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but his real name is
Oh yeah. Yes. Yes. So who does this remind you of? Old Major. Let's see his beautiful face. There he is. In all his wisdom and glory. How adorable. So here's just a little bit more about communism. This is one of the symbols of communism. And that actually kind of resembles the flag. Do you remember the flag that they made? With the little hoop? It kind of looks like a little hoop, doesn't it? In a way, if you imagine it. Good? Okay. So all people are equal. The government owns everything but the people own the government.
Wait, but then my neighbor said that not all people were just animals.
Yes. He said all. Yes, that is the difference, right? Old Major's an animal, so he says his kind, they're all equals. That's the end, right? That's what it changes into. So what does communism remind you of, Brady? Animalism. I don't know if I put that on your paper. Did I? Okay, good. So communism is animalism. It's the same ideals. Equality, working for themselves, getting the benefits for their hard labor for themselves. Yep. You guys can get notes off each other later. Oh, that's fine with me. Okay, so we have some major roles in this revolution. We're going to start with these guys. This is Vladimir Lenin. Okay, he's on your paper. He's in your packet. It does sound like a vampire. That's fine. So Lenin adopted Marx's ideas. He believed that the middle class, or the bourgeoisie, exploited the workers and must therefore be overthrown. Now I'll tell you that this character doesn't have his own symbol. He's kind of mixed in with another guy to make another character. I'll show you. He understood the emotional impact of simple, powerful slogans like "Workers of the World Unite," which that's a piece of what? We talked about it right at the beginning of class. If I had a poster that said, "Workers of the world unite," that would be a piece of propaganda. He understood that and he used that. So George Orwell mixes the traits of Karl Marx and Lenin into the character of our old friend. Remember who? Karl Marx and who's Karl Marx the symbol of? Old Major. So he's mixed in a little bit.
Old Major?
Yeah. Orwell mixes a little bit of Lenin and a little bit of Karl Marx and makes an Old Major.
Wait,
So also, yes, he would be also Old Major. There. We get another guy for Snowball. Okay. So when Lenin died, there was a power struggle between Trotsky and Stalin. The next two people we're going to talk about. Trotsky and Stalin had a power struggle together. They always fought. They didn't agree. It is believed that Lenin ordered Nicholas II murdered. Trotsky and Stalin, those are the other two we're going to get into.
Who ordered Nicholas?
It is believed that Lenin did. Who's Nicholas II?
Would it be the farmer?
Mr. Jones, right. Remember, he's Mr. Jones. The Tsar Nicholas II is Mr. Jones. Okay, so let's talk about Trotsky. Leon Trotsky. There's his adorable face there. Okay. Somebody read that for us? Dad, thank you.
Trotsky was a brilliant speaker. With Lenin, he succeeded in overthrowing the government in October 1917. Lenin was the president. Trotsky, the
Commissar.
Yep,
commissar for foreign affairs.
So who do you remember from our story that was out of the two struggling leaders, who was the more brilliant speaker of them? Yes, Ms. Lauren? Snowball? You guys think Snowball? Maybe. Think about it. He also wanted to improve life for all of Russia. He was chased away by Lenin's KGB. Who was chased away?
Snowball.
Snowball. You guys remember Snowball getting chased away?
Yeah.
So this is important to know. Trotsky was chased away. He had good ideas. He really did want to improve life for Russia, the Russians, but he got chased away by the KGB. Yeah, the KGB is Lenin's secret police. I'll tell you about those guys first.
So wait, is that normal?
See? Oh, it's Snowball! That's Snowball.
That's disgusting.
He's thirsty. It's a pig with snow on his face, so you guys remember that. Snowball.
Was Animal Farm based off of this?
Or are you just
Yes.
really?
Like it was actually like something like, oh wow, that's
Okay, guys. Remember I told you that the allegory of the cave was one of the most perfect and well-known allegories of more ancient times, right? Remember I said that?
Yeah.
Animal Farm is one of the most perfect and most celebrated allegories of modern times. It was intended to be a symbol and an allegory of the Russian Revolution. He intended it to be that way from the beginning.